Ahem, work-related communications coming through. Ruth, it's about the contract with A Company. You know, the one you were responsible for managing? They pulled out and the contract got aborted.
It got what? Why would they do that?
Don't tell me you're surprised. It's obviously because you're incompetent. That was such an important contract to this company. I mean, really. Talk about the mother of all screw-ups. How do you plan on taking responsibility?
Kimberly, I'm really sorry, but I need to make this clear. I was in charge of that project and responsible for all communications between our company and that client. There hasn't even been so much as a hint of a problem until now. Why would they pull out all of a sudden?
Listen, Ruth. I've been holding back so as not to upset you. But shall I just come out with it?
Not to upset me? What is this, kindergarten? How can I understand the situation if you don't tell me? Anyway, something doesn't quite sit right with me. Why didn't they contact me about the cancellation of the contract? Why you, when you never had anything to do with that project to begin with?
Oh, I give up. You're just too dim-witted. That's why there's no hope for you at this company.
Excuse me?
If you don't even take the time to consider what a client might be thinking, or what kinds of things they might expect from us as a company, or what kind of alterations they might like to see made, how do you expect to get anywhere in this business? This is probably why you're suffering from that strange illness of yours.
Strange illness?
What was it again? Appendicitis?
Ulcerative colitis.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Listen, Ruth, when you become an adult and enter society, you have a responsibility to properly look after and manage your own health.
My illness has nothing to do with whether or not I'm looking after myself properly. It's genetic. Besides, don't change the subject. What does my illness have to do with the cancellation of this contract? I'd appreciate if you kept your comments about my health to yourself, given it's got absolutely nothing to do with you.
Because you're defective.
What?
The client said they had to abort the contract because they didn't feel comfortable doing business with someone who they felt could collapse at any moment. You have to admit, it's too risky from a client's perspective to be engaged in negotiations with someone so sickly and diseased.
If that's true, why would their first move be to pull the plug on the project entirely instead of requesting a change of personnel? You're saying the contract itself got cancelled, aren't you? Why couldn't someone like, say you for example, have just stepped in as a pinch hitter to save the project and ensure all of this time and resources that went into it thus far weren't a total waste?
Why would I know? Do I look like a mind reader? All I know is that the client said they can't do business with us anymore. Why are you clinging to them so desperately now they're gone? It was all your fault. Maybe if you made some effort not to be so sickly, they wouldn't have left us in the first place.
If my illness genuinely was the reason they backed down, then I can only apologize.
Unfortunately, this isn't the kind of problem that goes away with a mere apology. Why don't you take a long, hard think about the damage you've done to this company? And take responsibility accordingly?
Yes, understood.
Not understood. What are you going to do? I want detailed suggestions, proposals, a plan of action. How do you intend to make up for this?
I'll work to the best of my ability to undo my failure and bring the client back.
Wrong answer. What you really need to do is have more awareness of your status as sickly, dead weight at our company. And accordingly keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and work silently in the background where you can't cause any further problems. If that's too hard for you, I think you'd make for an excellent coffee girl. I take milk and 2 sugars. If even that's too difficult, I suggest you start sleeping with the right people, because you're doomed to a future of failure and disappointment if you rely solely on your ability to actually do the job. You're an incompetent fool, and everyone knows it. Ah, you're leaving my messages on read. How mature. Sulking, are we? This is exactly what I'm talking about. The moment things become a little inconvenient for you, you bury your head in the sand, even going as far as ignoring your direct superior. You really are beyond help. If I'm honest, I'd rather you just resigned.
Good morning, Kimberly. I'm in the middle of a job right now, so I can't talk on the phone. Can I help you with something? Wait, shouldn't you be in the office already?
How dare you? Do not screw me around, Ruth. What lies have you been filling the boss's head with?
What do you mean? Lies?
Don't play dumb. I know exactly what you did. When I pulled into the car park and tried entering the staff door like usual, the company president was stood there blocking my way. He told me never to show my face at work again. No, he didn't just tell me. He yelled until he had goddamn steam coming out of his ears.
Oh, wow, that sounds rough. I did hear the boss can be a bit passionate at times. That's probably the reason he was able to build such a successful company, though.
I don't give a damn about that. All I can think of is that you went up and said something to him. Why else would he fire me? What did you do? Tell me.
I didn't do anything at all. All I did was head out this morning to apologize for losing the contract you told me about.
What?
Think about it. If a project collapses and it's your fault, don't you think offering a sincere apology and requesting the decision be reconsidered after promising to do better is the right and reasonable thing to do? That wasn't just my project after all. People from various departments were involved, and lots of hopes and dreams were pinned on it.
Huh? You went to see the client directly?
That's right. I swallowed my pride, got down on my knees, and apologized. Their project manager rushed out immediately when he saw what was going on, and explained the situation to me in minute detail. Everything, Ruth. I know. You tried stealing that contract from me, didn't you? You lurked in wait for Mr. Grant, the project manager, in the office car park, and waited until he finished his meeting. Then, when he got out, you basically forced him to go to dinner with you. You did nothing but badmouth me at the restaurant. Then, when you thought you'd trashed his opinion of me, you started trying to convince him of what a talented and reliable employee you are, Mo. Have you no shame? Then, to top it all off, you invited him to stay the night at a hotel with you. He described his feelings at the time of a complex mixture of shock, disgust, and terror. Being so desperate to go home at that point that he'd do anything to get away from you, but at the same time wanting to avoid handing you the project at all costs. He did the only thing he could think of and proposed aborting the contract entirely. Here's the key point, though. He didn't actually want to. But you, feeling you had the ammunition you needed, launched your full frontal assault on me and came up with whatever lies it took to have me held responsible. Even putting it mildly, you're a disgrace. Don't worry, though. I already told the section manager everything. Based on what you just told me, it seems like word of what you did made its way into conversation with the president.
Why, you really shouldn't have done that. Mark my words, you won't get away with this. I'll make you regret it if it's the last thing I do. Prepare yourself, Ruth. There is a storm coming.
Do what you like. Just make sure you don't do anything to cause any further trouble for the company. You might have been fired, but this company's done a lot for you, so I hope you've at least got the decency to spare them the nuance of your little revenge campaign.
Ruth, long time no see. Is now a good time? I have some news for you.
What?
You're gonna love this. Wait for it. I got married!
Oh, that's nice. Congrats.
I'm the happiest I've ever been. Listen, Ruth, I've been doing some thinking and I feel so guilty about the trouble I've caused you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to apologize.
Oh, if it's about the contract, don't worry. I'm already over it.
No, not that. Something else. I stole your fiancé.
My fiancé? Who do you mean when you say my fiancé? I'm not engaged to anyone. I've been happily married for a long time.
WTF?
Wait
a sec. This can't be. You're joking, aren't you? Or you're lying because you're so angry. Yes, that must be it, lol.
It's not a joke and it's not a lie. I'm married, which means I have a husband. Which means I'm not engaged, which means I don't have a fiancé for you to steal.
Aha, that's it. I bet you've already had word from him about the engagement being broken off, haven't you? I bet you're sat reminiscing over old photos and crying your eyes out as we speak. Look, I get it. I'm probably the last person you want to admit your heartbreak to. You won't be the only one crying at this rate. You're so pathetic, I think I almost feel sorry for you, lol.
You must be making some kind of misunderstanding.
I'm not misunderstanding anything. I know he's your fiancé. He approached me while I was crying on my own at the car park. On the day the president fired me outside the office, he really is a wonderful man. He could see I was upset and asked me if I needed someone to talk to.
That's all well and good, but I don't see how you go from that being dead certain this randomer from the car park is my fiancé.
He told me, of course. He said he came to the office to drop something off his fiancé left at home. But he said he just couldn't bear to see such a pretty girl crying and not say anything. I figured out he was your fiancé. Well, we were chatting over a coffee in a local cafe. I'm sorry to say this, but he said he found me much more attractive than you, and that I gave him butterflies in his stomach of the kind he hadn't felt since he was a teenager. Things between us began moving really fast after that. We went to bed together that night, and before we knew it, we were discussing marriage. It was then I knew I'd found my soulmate.
He sounds like a scammer.
Huh?
Yep, a marriage scammer.
What? Don't be so ridiculous. A marriage scammer, what even is that? Make some sense, woman. We are soulmates. Are you jealous? Is that it?
Kimberly, it seems like your desire to take revenge on me is clouding your better judgment and impairing your ability to think rationally. That's the most obvious marriage scam I've ever heard of. Did he ask you for money at any point while he wasn't whispering sweet nothings in your ear? Let me guess. Something like an advance payment on the wedding costs, which he empathetically promised he'd give you back later?
Huh? How did you know? Yes, he did. But that's hardly unusual. Things are moving really fast between us, so he probably didn't have the funds to get the ball rolling at a moment's notice. This is just how whirlwind romances are.
Oh, no. You'll never see that money again. I'm pretty familiar with this scam because I had a friend who very nearly fell for the same one a while back. Luckily, she realized what was going on and backed out at the last minute. You, however, such a shame.
I'm actually embarrassed for you, Ruth. The lengths you'll go to hide your heartbreak over having your fiancé stolen are bordering on tragic. Please salvage what remains of your dignity by gracefully admitting defeat. Yes, that's right. You lost, and I won.
I can repeat myself if you like. I'm already married. My husband's abroad on business right now. But I can send you some pictures of us if you like.
Oh, please, stop it, Ruth. You can't seriously expect me to believe someone like you could bag yourself a husband. What man in his right mind would have an interest in a sickly little creature like you?
We were classmates in high school. We were friends since long before I fell ill. He confessed his love to me after I got my diagnosis. He said the illness was irrelevant to him, and he wanted to be with me because he loved me.
Wait a sec. What? So this guy I'm engaged to really isn't your fiancé?
Yay, you finally got it! This is kinda what I've been trying to tell you this whole time.
I just tried to call him. He won't pick up. What should I do? Help!
Not my problem.
What? You mean you're not going to help me? This is all your fault. The least you could do is give me some advice. Take responsibility for what you have done.
What? This is my fault? So let me get this straight. First, you tried to steal my contract back when you still had a job and failed miserably. Then, you tried to steal my fiancé, assumed, and failed miserably once again. Is that a fair summary? To top it all off, suddenly I'm the one who's responsible somehow? Really gets the neurons firing. Would you mind explaining which part exactly is my fault? I'm drawing blanks here.
Don't twist the facts. I want my money back. $40,000 directly into my bank account now.
Nope. $40K though. Wow, he took you to the Gleaners. It's time you learned how to take responsibility for your own actions, Kimberly.
Fine, you win. I'll apologize for what I did. I'm sorry for everything. The contract, trying to steal your fiancé, everything. Can I just have my money back? Please? Not only did he take my entire bank balance, I don't even have a job anymore. How am I supposed to live?
Go back and live with your parents then? Or you could, I don't know, find a new job? In any case, I have zero obligation to help you.
Please stop talking like that. We used to be coworkers. Ruth, I'm begging you. Ruth!
We used to be coworkers? That's literally the least compelling plea for help I've ever heard. Anyway, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to fix this on your own. After all, you were always super talented at getting yourself out of difficult situations, weren't you? By sleeping with the right people? After that, Kimberly started showing up outside the company office every day, lurking behind cars until I clocked off, at which point she would jump out yelling expletives and harass me relentlessly. However, she was eventually spotted by our notoriously passionate and at times hot-headed company president. He reported her to the police, who came down immediately and bundled her into the back of a car. Apparently, her spirit was so crushed when hit with the reality of what her life had become, she broke down in tears in the police car and was inconsolable by the time she reached the station. Eventually, she somehow or other managed to pull herself together and went home with a caution, promising never to go near me ever again. However, sources tell me she's still vigilantly watching and waiting, biding her time until another opportunity to take her revenge on me presents itself. Rumor has it she's applying for jobs with every one of our competitor companies and hopes to somehow leverage that as her angle to teach me the lesson she's convinced I deserve. The irony is, if she'd just reflect on her own actions for a moment, she could learn the lesson she needs to learn. Let go of her hatred and move on with her life. Will she? I'm not holding my breath. Anyway, in more important news, I found out I was pregnant last month. I left the company when I got the news and decided to move abroad to be a stay-at-home housewife for my husband. So the whole thing with Kimberly is as good as ancient history to me now. I'm just praying I'm not unfortunate to bump into her in the street before my flight.